All right, Adnan, so we spoke about the first two pillars, the connect, the move. Obviously, control is important.
Absolutely.
So tell us about control, sir.
Absolutely. So, control is really about securing the information, the contextual access of why, who, what role are they playing. And then most importantly, once they do access, we analyze and we look at the analytics around the information that was analyzed and the optimization of information to ensure that whatever was being accessed, you were the right person coming in from the right device, coming in from the right location, and then you were able to access that information that you're supposed to. And if you're not, then automatically you're prohibited from coming into the network. That's what really control is about. And the most important factor of control, again, contextual, it's about what type of device, what type of application, and what type of location is that entity coming in on. And once we determine that, then there's a whole host of solutions. There are device management solutions, there are application management solutions, there is virtual VPN type of solutions that you would provide to ensure a secure pipe between you and the host computer or the host node. So again, depending on the device, the individual and where they're accessing from would really dictate how and to what extent you want to secure the information and the access.
What type of challenges? I mean, well, let me say this first. I think to the layperson, it seems like the first two are kind of given, right? Throw up a wireless access point, got that. I got a couple switches here, so got that. But this seems like this is the most nebulous, almost the toughest thing to get your hands around. I mean, do you think that same thing?
Absolutely, and that's a great point, because if you read any trade rag today, one of the things that you'll see is what keeps the CIO up at night. Right, that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Every CIO, apparently all CIOs in the U.S. don't sleep, much less in the world. Right, what keeps them up at night?
That's right.
Security, right?
Yeah.
But security is a very broad term. The second component is BYOD, another one of those buzz terms, right? Bring your own device. But if you really look at it in actuality, this is really happening today. We all bring up. This is my own device. I bring it to work. I access information. And then based on that, it really exposes the enterprise and their information. The most important asset next to humans in any corporations is their information. And so when we look at where and how do you access, and in your particular example or question, we talked about a wireless network. You can come into a location and you access. You can either access in a public network and there's no security and you got to rely on the security that's built into the device or the network that you're trying to access. But if you're an enterprise, you have to ensure that it's just not a username password, because that's just like having the key to the front door. Because you have the key to the front door, maybe you're not allowed to roam beyond the lobby, right? But if you have the key to the front door and there's no security guards around anywhere within the building, then you can go roam and do whatever you want. So username password is like having a security guard or a key at the front door, but once you get in, you can go and look in every room. That is what I believe the most troubling for enterprises today, because they can't get their hands around security in the terms of username, password, or the DNS servers, the AAA servers. Once username, password, boom, you're authenticated, go in. You have to have more than that, and it's got to be about context, role-based, seamless, depending on where you are. Are you a remote connectivity? Are you in the building? Are you doing it out in the real world over 3G, 4G connectivity? And all of those dictate different types of solutions. So for me, again, when you look at control and secure, it's about securing, controlling the devices that are coming in, making sure that you are analyzing the information that's being accessed, and then it's after the fact, which is really the analytics and optimization. Why did they access? Who accessed? What information is allowed to be accessed? Whether you're in the building, outside the building, from your home, whether you're a vice president, whether you're a manager, whether you're a worker. So these are the things that I believe have to really be looked at. And I'll finish and say by 90%, I think the last numbers I heard of infringements in any network happen from within. They happen from within. It's somebody that knows the username and password, or they set up a backdoor entry. So it's not always somebody hacking. It's lack of policy that's being implemented and a lack of true entirety of a solution when you're talking about control and secure.
It's good. We talk about that in terms of security, like how many times it isn't like as you said, the hacker. It's like just applying common sense over and over again that will actually allow you to sleep at night.
No, absolutely. But I think it's also layers, right? So I'll give you a couple of examples. If you are a bring your own device type of client and you work for a retailer, they don't care about your device. They don't care about your device. They're not going to manage your device. They're not going to want to know if it gets stolen or not. They can care less, right? It's your device. But what they do care about is their content on it. So in that particular instance, what they would want to do is put a container. So that application is downloaded on your device, and in that container, all corporate information's in there. And if something happens, they send a kill command, and it kills that container and all the information that's in it. And that leaves the phone alone because they don't care about the phone. But if I was a corporation and I issued you the phone, we call that corporate libel, or a device, whatever it may be, laptop or tablet, and that gets stolen, well, guess what? That's your asset, and you want to know where it is. So there, you have to have native device management. You want to do asset tracking on it. You want to do what we call cookie crumbs and figure out where it is at any given time based on the signal that it emits, so that you can always determine where that asset is at any given time. You can control if that asset gets stolen, if that person gets terminated, or if it gets misplaced. You know how to kill that device and track it down because it's your asset. The third example is if you're a government entity. Not only do you care about the asset, not only do you care about the information, but you want to make sure when that device is accessing, you have one additional layer, which is a secured socket link or a VPN that's running off your device, and you're securely accessing the host node. And then you've got the container that encrypts all the information, and then you can track the device. So depending again on the context of what you're doing, who you are, where you're accessing from. Are you a government? Are you a small, medium business? Are you a healthcare provider? Are you education? You deploy a different type of security policy based on the types of accesses and devices that you anticipate on supporting.
Tell you what, Adnan, this has been fascinating, man. And over the years, we've always known, there's a fine line between being able to use something and security, right? I mean, convenience and security, they don't go together. Everybody, you said earlier, everybody has to have this policy that makes sense for them, and it is about structure. Structure causes behavior, right? And when you don't have that structure, stuff starts to happen. And man, I tell you what, this has been extremely fascinating. And I think we'll close in the next segment with, what does this mean to you? How can you take mobility? How can you use it in your business or in your life? So, looking forward to that closure.
Thank you. Please stay tuned.